Good morning. Good morning. I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly, and we will be starting in just a minute. And a matter of fact, it is now 10:30. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for our new member show that we'll be doing today. I want to wish you all a happy new year, and hopefully this year will be a pleasant year for you. I hope that you also got rid of all of your Christmas Christmas and Thanksgiving should be long gone by now. But any stuffing that you may have had over the Christmas holiday, hopefully that's out the fridge by now, and you made your long list of resolutions for this year. And the gym should be full, or maybe not with everything that's going on. But I'm sure everybody has their workout goals for the new year and other goals. But without further ado, let's get started. I hope that you've had the opportunity to scan one of the QR codes that you see here. We have various social media outlets that you can follow us on. We update the information periodically, and on our Facebook and Twitter page, there's information that's posted every single day. Also, there's videos that are posted, and this video will be posted. So if you want to review the information that you see today, please follow up by going to our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see this at a later date or time. So your TRS benefit, we'll be talking about what it is, and we'll take about 15 minutes or so. Feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have in the chat box. And we do have our moderator with us, Ms. Celeste Miller, and she's one of our retirement planners. And also she is over our WebEx program. So a lot of the innovations that you've seen with WebEx, if you had a one-on-one session or you know somebody that's attending a virtual event, Celeste trains the agency and many of us on how to use that technology. So she'll be moderating the chat on YouTube and our WebEx channel. So what is your TRS benefit? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to break down the formula and the credible service that's used to get you to your retirement benefit. So your TRS benefit is a defined benefit plan. Many people refer to it as a pension plan. So that means that you're guaranteed a lifetime benefit based on the formula that we use. Now, this lifetime benefit can also be passed down to your beneficiaries depending on the plan that you choose. Now, the formula that we use is your years of creditable service, which is multiplied by 2%. And we take that percentage and multiply that by your high average salary, which is your highest 2 consecutive years, wherever that falls in your career. From there, we get your basic benefit under the max plan, and we have several other plans to choose from. These plans you don't necessarily have to be concerned about at this time because you'll be choosing that in your last 6 months prior to your retirement date. So here's an example here of how creditable service is used towards your benefit. So for a member that had 30 years of service at the time that they retired, they're getting 60% of their high average salary, which is $5,536.83, which equals $3,322.10 for the rest of their lifetime. Now here you see that the max is 40 years of service. So you can actually have 40 years of service towards your lifetime income, which is 80%. So that's the maximum that you can have. And in turn, when you receive your benefit in your retirement, you'll be paying federal and state taxes at that time because you're paying into the system pre-tax. So when can you retire? Well, there's 3 different ways that you can retire. The first and most common type is normal service retirement, which means that you're retiring without any penalty. So you can reach that at 30 years of service at any age, or if you have 10 years of service at 60 years of age. We also have a disability retirement for those who reach 10 years of service and become disabled and cannot perform their current job duties. Then there is a disability retirement that can be applied for, and there's no reduction to any benefit regardless of the age at that time of disability retirement. And we also have a early service retirement, and you can retire at 25 years of service. That's if you have less than 30 years of service, obviously. And also you can be under 60 years of age. Now, if you retire with an early service retirement, there are penalties that will apply to that early service retirement. So definitely something you want to consider if you're looking at that option. Now, there's 3 different types of service that counts towards your retirement. There's membership service, there's purchase service, and there's also sick leave. Your membership service is attained by having 9 months within a year, and our fiscal year runs from July through June. For some university faculty, 8 months makes a full year for them, but for most of our membership, 9 months makes a full year of service. You have to have at least half-time or more of the service of the month work, and it has to be a permanent position. So substitute teaching or temporary positions will not count towards your membership service. So again, your membership service is the service that you're working for. We also have purchase service, and so you can buy service towards your teacher's retirement system credit, and most of that service purchases are services that you accrued in the past. So let's say you worked out of state for Alabama or Tennessee or Florida, for example, then in most cases, you can buy that public teaching service towards your TRS service here in Georgia. Some other types are military service. And one type that we have is called airtime service, and you don't have to work for that, but you do have to have at least 25 years of retirement at the time of your retirement application. And you can roll over funds, so you can use funds from other retirement plans and even from those other systems that you paid into towards your service purchase. And the last type that we have is unused sick leave. So you can accrue sick leave to increase your retirement benefit as well. Most people accrue sick leave at a rate of 1.25 days per month. Some systems will give a higher rate than that, but that will be adjusted down at the time of retirement. And the sick leave that cannot be applied towards your vesting. And we'll touch on vesting in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to go over an example of how your sick leave can benefit you in your retirement. So we have two teachers, Tom and Mary. They both worked for 26 years and earned 12.5 days of sick leave each year. Tom always used his sick leave, but Mary rarely used hers. They both had the same high average salary of $4,500 at the time of retirement. So Tom, he always used his sick leave. He didn't have any at the time that he retired. Therefore, we're multiplying that 26 years by 2% to give him 52% of his high average salary of $4,500. And therefore, his monthly benefit will be $2,340 when he retires. Mary, on the other hand, she has 312 days when she retires, which gives her 16 months or 1.7 months, 1 year and 7 months of extra service. That increases her creditable service to 27 years and 7 months. We'll multiply that by 2% to give her 55.56% of that $4,500, and therefore her benefit is $2,500 as opposed to the $2,340 for Tom. Now, Mary didn't work any additional days. She just accrued her sick leave. So if you don't have to, you want to make sure that you keep as much sick leave as you can towards your retirement, because as you can see, it can increase your retirement benefit. And in some cases, it can allow you to retire earlier. So for example, if you have 29 years of service and you have a year's worth of sick leave, you can retire in your 29th year as if you have 30 years of service. Now, we talked about vesting just a minute ago, so we're going to revisit that and also talk about your beneficiaries and how they are affected by your decisions. So vesting means that you have 10 years of service credit, and you do have to work for that credit, or you can use service purchases towards that. But again, your sick leave cannot count towards your vesting. And vesting means that you are entitled to a retirement benefit as well at age 60. Now, the reality is that many of us will switch our careers at some point, and it may be a job change within your career. The average is about 4.5 years that people work in a position for most millennials, and I'm assuming there are some Gen Zers in here as well. But you can also switch within TRS, so that's something to think about. But let's say if you have 10 years of service, you're vested, and you decide to seek employment outside of a TRS covered employer, you can leave your funds with TRS. And if you're vested at age 60, you can start drawing a retirement benefit at that time. Now, you can also return prior to age 60, and you can continue to add to those 10 years of service. So let's say you do 10 years of service in DeKalb County, for example, you leave and go in the private sector. At age 50, you come back and complete another 10 years, then you'll have 20% at the time that you retire. Now, if you decide to leave the system, you do have the option to withdraw your funds as well. However, you are forfeiting your lifetime income at age 60. You can receive a lump sum benefit, or a lump sum payment. It's not a benefit, but a payment of what you paid into the system plus the interest you've accrued. You can roll that over into a tax sheltered account, but if you don't, you have to pay taxes, and there may be some penalties depending on your age. Now, if you return back to a TRS covered employer, after 3 years of work, you can repurchase that withdrawn service towards your benefit, but you'll be paying at a higher rate because of the interest that has accrued since you last left. Now, here's an example of a teacher who had 25 years of service. She left after 17 years, and she decided to leave for the private sector. So after 17 years of service, she has 32% of her average salary. She decides to leave her funds with TRS. And at age 60, she'll draw $1,959 per month for the rest of her life. If she decides to withdraw those funds, then she'll take $63,990 before taxes. So again, there's taxes and penalties, and she's forfeiting that retirement benefit. If she decides to come back to a TRS covered employer and wants those 17 years back towards her credit, then she'll have to purchase that. So that's $63,990 plus interest that has accrued. Now, your beneficiaries is based solely on what we have on file. So any information that you submit to us is what we'll use if you happen to pass while you're working or in your retirement. This is very important because submitting your information during your open enrollment to update your beneficiaries for your life insurance and your health insurance and other type of insurances doesn't roll over to TRS. So you have to log into your TRS account at trsga.com. For those of you who have just started, usually it takes about 2 months for you to be registered within the system. But at that point, anytime after 2 months, you can log in and create your account and add your beneficiaries. So this is a very important step, and you want to make sure that you do this periodically throughout your career to protect your beneficiaries. So some of the things that we'll talk about in the last couple minutes here is just some things that you want to think about to supplement your TRS benefit. Again, at best, if you have 40 years of service within the system, you'll get 80%, but some people will have 40% or maybe even 20% at the time that they leave, depending on how many years of service that they have when they retire. So some things to think about are, what are my financial goals and how will I achieve them? Have I established other retirement and investment accounts? Am I managing my monthly expenses to achieve my financial goals? So a budget, do you have a budget in place to make sure that you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out each month? Are you in a system that contributes or doesn't contribute to Social Security? So if that's a part of your retirement planning, you want to make sure that you know what the rules are in your system. And if you don't have Social Security, what are some of the advantages that your system may have set in place in lieu of Social Security? And will your TRS benefit be enough to meet your goals? So for some people, 60% of their salary at the time that they retire is more than enough. For others, they may have different goals in their retirement, and that may not be enough. So you want to think about using a combination of your TRS benefit, which you know you'll have for the rest of your lifetime, plus there may be Social Security or some other options like a 401k, IRA, or personal savings. So some ways to improve your retirement income is, of course, to work longer in a TRS position. So again, 40 years of service is the max, and therefore you can have up to 80% at the time that you retire. Make sure that you identify how you're spending your money. So make sure you're maintaining your budget each month, and make sure that you're not overspending. It's very easy to do, and I don't know about you all, but during the pandemic, I didn't spend much in gas, but I sure spent a whole lot much more in food. And you want to make sure that you're saving for a rainy day. So establish short-term and long-term savings. Short-term, most people will consider less than a year. So something that you may know that you're going to get done in the next few months, like changing the tires or replacing the roof. And long-term will be more than a year. So some big purchases that you're saving up for. And also consider those additional savings and investment plans like a 401k, IRA, and definitely want to reach out to your HR department because they know who the vendors are for your system. So again, please make sure that you visit trsga.com, create your account and register your beneficiaries online. And also you want to keep up with any events that we may be doing. So we have pre-retirement counseling, we have mid-career counseling, we do several other new hire events. So we have a web calendar to let you know exactly what we're doing from week to week. And at some point when we're able to travel again, we do in-reach and outreach. So we are able to meet with you one-on-one. So at some point that's coming, but in the meantime, you can meet with us in a virtual format. Again, if you want to review this information and we have other videos, please go to our YouTube channel. And at this time, I will put up these QR codes again, and I will scan through the chat just to see what questions may have popped up. So I want to make sure that you all have the most up-to-date information, based on what we have in our system at this time. So again, you want to make sure that you go to our website, and let me just scan the chat just to see if there are any questions that are really pertinent and desire your attention. Also, I'll make sure that I go through these questions, and for those that I don't get to, I will make sure that I follow up and send you a personal message. So let's see. You mentioned purchasing years from other states. How do I do that? So for purchasing service from other states, you need to have at least 6 years of service in Georgia already. So after you've reached your 6 year of service, you can buy 1 year service, and you can purchase up to 10 years depending on the number of years of service that you have. So for each additional year above your 6 year that you work in TRS in Georgia, you can buy another year. So at year 6, you can buy 1, at year 7, 2, and so on and so forth, up to 10 years of service. There is a form on our website that's called the Out-of-State Teaching Certification Form. So you download that form. There's a portion that you fill out, and you send that to your previous retirement system. Once we get that information back, we'll let you know exactly how much it is to buy that service towards your TRS benefit. One question was, how long is the gap that I can leave the school system and come back? So if you have 10 years of service, or even if you don't have 10 years of service, let's say you reach 3 years of service and you leave, there's no minimum or maximum amount of time that you have in between you want to come back and get vested. So let's say you do 3 years, you go work in the private sector for 15 years, you can come back and complete 7 years to reach 10 years or even more than that to increase your retirement benefit. So there isn't a time limit as far as the gap between when you start and stop service or vice versa. All right, I'll take a couple of more questions. Teaching is my second career, so I will only have about 20 years in the TRS system. I'm 65, and after 20 years of teaching, I would get 40% of the highest average salary. So yes, at 20 years of service, that would equal 40% of the average salary. And once you reach age 60, there's no penalties that apply. So if you're vested and you have less than 30 years of service, but you are 60 years of age, there's no reduction to your retirement benefit. And the last question I'll take, so we do have new members that may be coming in as their second or third career. So one question that we have is, this is my first year teaching, I'm 59, will I be able to benefit from TRS? So if you have 10 years of service, if you decide to work until you're 69 and you have 10 years of service, then yes, you will benefit. You'll get a lifetime benefit at that point. Also, you may want to go to our website and just look through our publications and just search service credit service purchases, because there may be some service that you can buy to retire earlier. So that's something to look into. And if you have any questions about that, just feel free to use the contact us section on our website, and we can look further into that for you. All right, so that will pretty much conclude our session for today. Again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. I know for a lot of you, this is a planning day. Or you may be on your planning period, but thank you for taking the time out to see us today. I will send out some information afterwards. I'll try to get to those questions that weren't answered, and feel free to look on various social media channels, go to our website, and register for an upcoming event. We will be doing this again at 1:30 today. So if any of your fellow staff hasn't had the opportunity to check us out this morning, we'll be doing this at 1:30 today, and also 10:30 and 1:30 again on tomorrow. So without further ado, I will not hold you up any longer. Thank you again, and you all have a nice day.